Hola, ¿cómo les va? My name is Heather, and I spent this past summer in the capital of Ecuador, where I lived with a family and studied at a local university. For those of you who don't know, Ecuador is located in the northwest coast of South America between Colombia and Peru. The capital, Quito, rests like a fishbowl in the middle of the Andes Mountains and has over 1 million inhabitants. Today, I want to take you on a tour of Quito. I will show you a typical day in the life of an exchange student. You begin to wake up at 6 a.m. when the sun inevitably rises every morning. You hear people talking outside, car alarms going off, and for some strange reason, a rooster crowing. Although these noises would normally bother you so early in the morning, you welcome these sounds as a comfortable part of your experience here in Quito. You get ready and go to the kitchen where your homestay mom has breakfast prepared for you. You have your morning coffee or toast. Or an assortment of some of the best fruit you've ever tasted. Regardless, your plate is full and you never knew you were capable of eating so much. But you need the energy to sustain yourself because you are living at an altitude of 2,850 meters. Your homestay mom says, "Que vaya bien." You reciprocate, grab your bottle of water. Dehydration comes easily for you here, and head to the bus. After a 15-minute walk to the bus, in which you strategically cross large roads without pedestrian walkways or pedestrian-favored laws, you find that the bus you need to board is always ready for you. "Mande, mande, mande," says the man who stands on the steps near the bus door, in order to indicate that he wants you to get on the bus as quickly as possible, so that he can collect your 25 cents for the ride. Another 15 minutes pass by, and you see a Supermaxi, Ecuador's signature grocery store, and you know it's time to get off the bus. Before the bus comes to a stop, you know that you must get out of your seat and walk toward the door so as not to miss your opportunity to exit. You then proceed to walk to the small but beautiful campus at La Universidad de San Francisco at Quito. Campus is like another world. iPods and laptops and trendy clothes are in every direction. You notice that these students are part of a wealthier class of Ecuadorians. You notice that your classes are surprisingly informal. The students address the professors by their first names, an attempt to create a comfortable and personal relationship between professor and student. The buildings are each named for a famous scientist or philosopher. And the beauty of the courtyard is intensified by the presence of a serene-looking pond. At 2 p.m. your classes are over, and you venture over to your friends to make plans for the day's adventures. After making a stop at the closest panaderia to buy a piece of some of the best bread you've ever tasted, you and your friends hop back on the bus to get back to the main part of. Once you arrive, you hail a taxi. You know the only taxis you should hail are those that have an orange number on their window shield. You all hop in the cab and exchange a polite "Buenos tardes" with the taxi driver and tell him, you've only encountered male drivers, where you'd like to go. As you engage in small talk with the driver about where you're from, what you're studying, where you visited in Ecuador, and whether you'd like to come back to Ecuador, you arrive to the first stop on your list for the day, El Centro Histórico. This place is also known as the Old Town of Quito and is full of impressive churches and government buildings. By far, the most majestic church you encounter is the Basilica, at 115 meters high. You pay roughly $2 to $3 to climb its highest towers and cannot believe the amazing views of Quito. You and your friends take pictures in the Basilica every chance you get. Your legs shake more and more with every level you reach, but you have to keep going. You will never have an opportunity like this again. You look out and see the Virgin of Quito. You remember hearing her story. She is a symbol of the fight for independence against Spain. The chains on her feet signify her loyalty to her land and steadfast determination to protect it. Finally, you climb a ladder to the highest level of the Basilica. The ground below you is nothing but thin wire, and you're horrified and excited all at once. You see a group of 3 Germans sitting on the outside ledge of the Basilica, smoking cigarettes and peering over the ledge. You and your friends talk about how crazy the men must be. But then you decide to do the same. After all, you've made it this far. With your legs still shaky and that feeling of invincibility lingering, you and your friends hail another taxi for the next stop on your list, El Museo de Osvaldo Guayasamín in La Capilla del Hombre. Guayasamín is the most famous artist in Ecuador. You are intrigued by the way he uses his expressionist art to protest social injustices. His work is so unique and carries so much meaning, not only for Ecuador but for Latin America. As you look at his artwork, you contemplate the various meanings that each painting may carry. You were struck by the quote, "I cried because I had no shoes until I saw a child that had no feet." You were also taken aback by the grotesquely hanged head of Chile's ex-dictator Augusto Pinochet, who is responsible for killing thousands of alleged political dissidents in his country. You and your friends then go to Guayasamín's burial place. He is buried under a tree in the front yard of his old house. The view is breathtaking, and you can't help but think that it's a perfectly natural place to bury such an influential artist. Now it's time for another once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, football. It's the World Cup qualifiers, Ecuador versus Argentina. The crowd is a sea of yellow, the color of the Ecuadorian flag. They sing, "Vamos, Ecuatorianos," and sway. You find it so interesting how national pride is so closely tied with soccer. You can't help but be annoyed by the rain and the thousands of people that make it difficult for you to move from your standing position at the very back of the stadium. Nor can you help but be completely swept up by the excitement when Ecuador beats Argentina 2-0. You come home to a hot bowl of soup with an entire chicken breast and corn on the cob floating in it. It's strange to you, but you pick up the corn from the soup and eat it, followed by the chicken, and discover how good it tastes. Then you eat a plate full of rice, an ensalada of mixed vegetables, and more chicken. You remember the time your mother gave you an entire fish to eat. Again, you can't believe that you are capable of eating so much. You and your homestay mom and her friends talk about your day's experiences. You love being around such warm and honest people that don't hesitate to treat you like family. Your homestay mom asks you if you will go out dancing tonight. You decide that you will, and around 10 p.m., she helps you call a taxi that comes to pick you up and take you to Mariscal, an area of Quito that's full of nightlife. You attempt to learn the salsa and the merengue. The night has grown old and you begin to dream of your bed. You hail your last taxi for the day, remembering that you must bargain with the driver for the cost of the ride, since he turns his meter off at night. You realize that you are likely to be overcharged for the ride because you are American, but sometimes you're too tired to care. As the taxi driver takes you home, you look out the window at all the beautiful lights that illuminate Quito and the Andes Mountains at night. This amazing sight was the first thing you saw when your homestay mom drove you from the airport to your new home on that first night in Ecuador. And it will be the last thing you will see as you take a taxi to the airport on that very last night. This image will be forever engraved in your brain as a representation of the beauty you can find in such a new and unfamiliar world.